Hello.
27.
Hello. Check. Uh, Hello. Check. Hello. Mic check.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. This quote by Margaret Mead is exactly what has inspired our team at Stella Maris Sustainable Development Students Hub to take a leap and launch our TNSDG Girls Championship 2022, reminding all of us that with a little bit of hope and courage, us girls can be unstoppable. A very good morning to everyone gathered here today. At the outset, I, Fatima Chagan, Department Representative of the SMSD Students Hub, extend my warmest welcome to you. Before we begin with our webinar, let us remember to thank the Almighty for giving us the strength to embark on this journey. To give our new attendees a brief outline, the TNSDG Championship aims to be a drop in the ocean that creates ripples of change by aiding young girls to unleash their potential in order to increase support for the SDGs. We envision the championship to be a modest contribution to the vital global objectives. This is a stage designed for young girls with a promising vision to commence on their sustainable journey by putting ideas and plans for the local community together. Today's webinar will be focused on pitch deck. Pitch decks are concise presentations that are used to pitch your ideas to any number of audiences. They assist the audience to understand more about the ideas, goals, and strategies. Our esteemed guest speakers will be a guiding light to our participants on how they are expected to present. With this, I'm honored to introduce our first guest speaker, Ms. Sanjana Vijay, on this platform. The co founder of Sukha Education Foundation and CSR manager at Tagros Chemicals India, with a drive to effect change, Ms. Sanjana was one of the architects behind the Sukha Education Foundation. At Sukha, they believe that communication is an essential tool that sculpts one's life experiences, development, and growth. With great pride, I would also like to add that Miss Sanjana is an alumnus of Stella Maris College, where she pursued BA Economics. It gives the college immense pleasure to see you here with us today to instill that thirst for change in the hearts and minds of young girls. Over to you, ma'am.
Hi everyone, thank you so much. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Hi, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Like how you was just mentioned, I'm Sanjana and I'm super excited and happy to be here with you today. Before we begin, I just wanted to check, will you be sharing my presentation or would
Yes,
you?
ma'am, we'll be sharing.
Yeah, okay. I think we can pull that up right now if that's okay. Okay.
Yeah, just a second now.
Yeah, no worries. So while that's being shared, let me just begin by with a round of thank yous. So first of all, I'd like to give a huge thank you to, of course, Stella Maris College and Rebecca Ma'am, who have invited me to come over here today. It's always nice to be invited back to Stella and always back with the community. So thank you so much for inviting me and having me over. This. It's always nice to be a part of the community again and always find ways in which I can give back to the amazing college experience that I had. Okay, so I'm going to predominantly be speaking in Tamil and English as I was instructed to do so. If there's any point where you'd like for me to pause and maybe repeat any sentences or explain that a little bit more in detail, please feel free to go off mute and immediately stop me. I'll be more than happy to explain it in much greater detail. So I'm just going to begin right now, seeing that we're chasing time. So I'm just going to be beginning right now. Again, if there's any point in time you'd like for me to stop, please feel free to do so. Okay, thank you. I think we can skip and go to the next slide. Okay, so just like what my introduction was given, I hold the full-time job title as General Manager of Corporate Social Responsibility here at Tagros. It's a chemical company that's based out of Chennai. Along with this being my full-time role, I work on two other startups. One, of course, is a non-profit, which was included in my introduction. It's called Sukha Education Foundation. It's based out of Chennai. A second one is a one that's far more recent. It's called Skill Up Training Solutions. It was started with my brother and a friend of mine, and the idea came out of us enjoying public speaking so much in our college, where we wanted to take it beyond. Even though we're done with college, we'd like to see how we can further incorporate that into our lives. So we've started this enterprise where we'd like to work with colleges and schools and corporations to help improve either their students or staff members with aspects of public speaking. Hoping that goes pretty well too. My further other as a work experience that I've had over here is I'm an ex-analyst at McKinsey, and I'm an ex-analyst as well at Goldman Sachs, where I interned. Thanks. I think we can go to the next slide. Thanks. Okay. So what is one thing we should remember when we talk about a pitch deck? The idea of the pitch deck is, just as the name suggests, it's just a pitch. It's not something that's supposed to be extremely long and having too much information at all times, and it just gets too overwhelming, not only for you while making it, but also for the reader who is going to be reading it. The idea is that it should be extremely precise and yet informative. It should be something that someone can just immediately pick up, and that they get the idea about what you're working for and what you're working towards. It gives them just enough information for them to to understand what you're doing and also keep them interested to want to ask you further more questions. So pitch deck is sort of like a segue into them being interested to wanting to know more about what you're doing. I think you would have always heard of things called an elevator pitch, where imagine you're in an elevator with somebody and someone's asking you to give a quick introduction about what you're doing. So that's sort of what a pitch deck is. You need to give a quick introduction to what you're doing, but also at the same time including and making sure that it's precise and informative. So, with that being said, just make sure that in your pitch deck, no matter what you're covering, these three things should be covered. One is, of course, your problem statement, two is your solution, and third is, of course, your impact. Now, we're going to get into each of these a little bit more in the next couple of slides, but just remembering that we're going to be talking about a problem statement, a solution, and an impact. If we're going to be talking about how many slide numbers should be there, how long should a pitch deck be, or how short should a pitch deck be, just keeping in mind that it doesn't get too overwhelming. There's no set fixed number of slides that one should do or one should not do, but that should be up to the decision of you because you know your product the best. But ideally, if I were to want to say, and I think this was also the guidelines that was given earlier, usually when you're making the problem statement, please make sure it's usually just a 1 or 2 slides. Your solution part of it can be more number of slides. It can be about 2 slides to, let's say, 4 slides. And finally, your impact, of course, can be a major chunk. So it can be about 1 slide or 1 to 2 slides. Just make sure it doesn't go too long so it doesn't get too much for the reader when they're going through it. Okay, now let's jump in to want to look at more about what a problem statement is. So, problem statements are obviously going to look very different for every person. Why? Because it represents the problem that you are going to be solving. In this case, highlighting the whole aspect of the pitch deck itself, in my opinion, I think rests on highlighting how important this one slide is. That is the problem. We all have so many solutions to so many problems in the world today, but if someone were to come to me and tell me, hey, listen, I found a solution for X problem, or I found a solution for Y problem, in my mind I'm just going to be like, okay, that's interesting, that I'm so glad you found a solution, I'm so glad you found a solution. But to make someone that much more interested to knowing why your solution is so unique and why your solution is so important to the world today and right now, in my opinion, I think should be highlighting why and what the problem is in the first place. Once you highlight what the problem is, it makes someone that much more interested and value your solution you're creating so much more better. So that's why, in my opinion, I think that this slide, which is the problem slide, is the most important. And I think more time must be put into actually curating this slide itself. So now let's get into it to understand what should go inside this slide and how should you think about creating this slide itself. So the first thing, of course, is that when you look at a problem slide, in your mind, you will obviously know what the problem is. Your problem could be for whatever solution you're trying to find. One, your problem could be there's too much litter. Your problem could be there's too much pollution. Your problem could be there's too much food wastage. Whatever your problem is, in your mind, you know that this is the problem. This is the crux of the problem. Even though that we know what the problem is, there should be a way in which we highlight this problem to make it show that it's a global, universal, or localized issue. And how that happens is when you put in the work in order to find the research that will back up the relevance of the problem that you're trying to solve. So that will come into finding on numerical data points that highlight the importance of the issue. So for example, let's take, you're taking food wastage. Okay, you say in your mind, your problem is there is too much food wastage and we need to do something about it. Your solution that you found is something that's going to curb food wastage. Okay, but how are you going to highlight why this problem is so important? So when you're going to do more research, you can find out and highlight more data points that highlight why this problem is important. You can find different studies being done, different research papers being published. You can highlight something by saying that over 2.3 million tons of food is being wasted on a yearly basis. This number is not accurate. It's something that I just pulled off the top of my head. But showing these numerical data points that highlight the value of the problem that you're trying to solve really puts it in perspective for an outside person who's taking a look at it. Now, of course, by just saying food wastage is a big problem, okay, But how big of a problem? So when you're going to add more of these numerical values or these large factual statements, it makes the listener also conceptualize it and make them also understand how big the problem is. So that's one thing that you could probably use. Next is you could also use qualitative statements. So supposing your problem that you found out is not something that's been researched too much into right now. It's a new problem that you found. Not much research is being done. What can you do about it? That way, what you can do is you can get qualitative statements. You can get quotes from people who are affected by this problem, or you can get quotes from different research papers who've also published about these kind of things, or you can get quotes from people who you think might benefit from this. Either ways, using qualitative data is equally important and effective, in my opinion, as much as using quantitative data as well. It just depends on the problem that you are trying to solve for, and in your opinion, what you think would be the best to highlight the relevance of the problem you're working for. And finally, the last one is sharing your own story. I think this is such a creative and a fun way to explain the problem that you're working for. It could just be from you explaining how this problem even came into place. What was your eureka moment? What made you realize that this was a problem that you wanted to solve? So the way that you can say this in a problem slide is you can even make like a whole story narrative about what happened to you, what happened, and what made you realize that this was a problem itself. And I think that could be a very creative way of explaining what your problem is. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so now that we've discussed about ways in which you need to highlight this problem, I think when I was making my first few pitch decks, I always felt like, okay, I knew that, but it's a little difficult for me. How do I even know what I should highlight? How do I even think this through? How do I know what numerical data I need to show? That was my question I had in my mind. So what helped me answer it a lot better is, number one, I asked myself these following questions, and I think it made it a lot easier for me to be able to understand the gravity of the problem itself that I'm trying to solve for. Okay, so one, I kept asking myself, so what? Okay, again, let's go back to what is the problem that we identified in the first example. In the first example, I told you that the problem was food wastage, correct? Now, if this is a problem, I need to ask myself the question, so what? So what if food wastage is being left unaddressed? What is the first problem? The first problem, if food wastage is being left unaddressed, it shows that we've not utilized our resources properly. So many people are going without access to food. We are not effectively using the food in the right way possible. We're not nourishing ourselves. So you've already found out 4 different answers to the one question you asked yourself. So what? So once you've identified the overall problem, keep asking yourself, so what? So what if this problem is not there? So what if this is not there? So what if this is not there? The more times you ask yourself that, the more answers that you will get for yourself to make it that much more clear about how much you need to highlight this problem. Okay, now that you've asked the so what about the problem, you can also ask yourself, why should anybody care about this problem? Because in the end of the day, if someone is going to be looking at your pitch deck and they are looking to see, okay, cool, this problem is there, this problem is there. So for instance, let's look at my organization that I run a non-for-profit where we teach English communication and grammar to children and young adults. So in why now, if I'm talking about my problem statement, I'm saying in my problem statement, we started this organization because X percentage of the population do not have access to English communication, means of English communication. Now, if I ask myself, why should anyone care about this problem? The answer that I would give is, if this problem is left being unaddressed, this much of population will be affected and not be able to secure a fulfilling job, or this many population will find it more difficult to find a job. So this way, you highlighting why anyone should care about the problem makes it that much more easier for the reader itself to understand why they should care about the problem. So answering this question, I think, could also be key to almost like hooking in the person to understand why they should even be listening to the rest of your presentation. And the last 2 points, similar to what we learned before, is any research being done to back up your claim? So you found out that this problem is there. You've asked your so what. You've done all of this. Why should anyone care about the problem? You have all of your answers. Now you found that answers by yourself. Now try to find if there are any research articles that have already been published that further highlight or back up what you are saying as well. Are there other research articles that are saying exactly what you're thinking? Are there others who are also thinking about what you're thinking? And what are those factors? Knowing that could further be key to make your problem statement that much more effective. All right. So I'm just going to pause here. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to just go off mute and ask me. I'm just going to be going to the next in the interest of time. Can we please go to the next slide, please? So here is an example slide of what a problem statement could be. Yes, I did find this on the internet, but I made quite a few changes as well that I thought would incorporate more of the things that we've learned. So now let's look at this. They've clearly listed on the title, the problem. The market for co-working solutions is broken. The title is very clear. The title states exactly what the problem is. The market for co-working solutions is broken and it's not a viable solution. Now look at what they've included in the problem statement. Remember where I said that you can add a narrative, you can add your story. That's exactly what they've done in the first half. They've written an entire story for what Tim's problem is and why this problem has affected Tim separately. So this includes aspect of qualitative data. It also includes aspect of telling a narrative story. Okay, so that's one entire chunk of it. It also includes numerical data points to further prove Tim's story. Remember, we also spoke about research being done in order to back up the claim. So this slide, in my opinion, I think could be perfect because it includes both a qualitative story that one individually can buy into. When I'm reading this, I'm just actually thinking of a person like Tim, and I'm actually thinking of the problem that Tim is going through. And further, all these numbers put it in perspective and tell me, okay, it's not just Tim that's going through this problem, it's a global issue. Lots of people are going through this as well. Okay, so now I'm interested. I didn't know anything about co-working solutions until now, but after looking at the slide, I'm like, okay, wow, like maybe it's a problem not affecting me, but looks like it's a big enough problem that's affecting a lot of people. Okay. Can we please go to the next slide? Okay. Now, over here, we're going to talk about our solution. Now, over here, these next 2 to 3 slides are extremely important, but let's break it down. Even though we have 3 slides for solutions, let's not equally distribute your working solution across all 3 slides at the same time. Let's be a little bit strategic about it. What have we done until now? Until now, we've just given the idea, we've given the problem to someone who's reading it. They know that a problem like this exists. But now what we're going to do is we're not just going to give you the solution, we're going to slowly explain what the solution is. That way, it sort of builds a little bit more interest and curiosity for the person as they're going through your slides. And it makes it that much more clear for them. So now let's look at the first solution slide that you're going to be creating. In this first solution slide, try to make it very brief. Do not make it very extremely focused on what are the nitty-gritties of your solution. For example, if you're working in a solution that talks about a sustainable measure of sanitary napkins, just an example, this slide alone, you do not need to get into the details of where you're sourcing your material from or what the details of your manufacturing process is. No, just make sure this slide is very strict and concise, talks about what is the solution you're offering. Let's think about why this is important, because until now you just described what a problem is. Now if a reader in their mind, they're like, okay, this is a problem, now what are we going to do about it? So this next slide can be a very brief overview about what your solution is. That's about it, what this slide needs to have. But what you should remember is that given that you've already addressed a problem in the first slide, first 2 slides, this slide, you obviously need to include a solution that addresses the problem that you have highlighted. You can't just highlight a problem in the first 2 slides and your solution doesn't cover that problem that you've highlighted. That obviously reflects a little badly on what you're presenting. So what you can do about that is, A, try to find an explanation for your solution that highlights and proves why it solves the problem that you've highlighted in the first slide. Alternatively, what you can do is don't include so much detail of that in your first problem slide. That makes it easier for you when you're making your solution slide. Whatever works, just keep asking yourself the question, so what? And not only for the problem side, but also for your solution side. So you can ask yourself, okay, I've developed this product. So what? How does it help? That way, it helps answer your questions and make your solution slides that much more effective. Okay, so now let's get into this to know a little bit more about what this slide should have. It should have a brief overview of your proposed solution as a whole. Again, like I said, it does not have to be in detail at all. It can just be a very brief overview of what you're trying to be solving for. Next, it can include a short introduction into its workings. Again, so let's take an example of a better, supposing you're trying to pitch an idea for a cloth pad, which is your problem that you've identified is menstrual hygiene, the waste that's generated from one-time use menstrual hygiene products. So your solution that you're talking about over here is reusable cloth pads. That could be a solution that you're working towards. So here, what you could include is your brief overview by talking about just quickly 1-2 lines. Thus, we're proposing a solution for reusable cloth pads. It makes it so much more easier for the woman to have that much more control. It helps the women in order to not spend so much money every month and helps her save X amount of rupees every month by using a reusable cloth pad. It's hygienic and so on and so forth. Okay, now this would just be your introduction. Next, you're going to be getting into the short introduction of the workings. Here, you can keep a very quick, maybe like you can even put it as an illustration, or maybe you can put it as a very quick, just a 1-2 lines. Talk about what a reusable cloth pad is. You can write it in quotes, or you can put it in the side. Just an introduction about what the product itself is and how it works. In this case, I'm talking about a reusable cloth pad, but in your case, it can be any product that you're talking about. Just an introduction into, hey, how does this work? That's about it. Next, you can talk about all the factors that make your cloth pad, that make your product desirable. So now let's go back to the cloth pad example that I just used. So in the first line, remember where I said the problem that we are addressing over here is introduction of cloth pads. What else did I say? I said that it helps women find a more sustainable form of menstrual hygiene products. It helps them save on X amount of rupees, so on and so forth. All of these are examples to show why your product is more desirable than the other product on the market. This is something that we call a USP, a unique selling proposition, to just show why your problem is so much more, your solution is not only the best solution out there, it should be the only solution that anybody can think about. Again, something that you can note down here is this does not have to be an in-depth technical explanation. Just provide a gist about how you're going to be solving to fix this problem. This does not have to be a very elaborate slide. If you cannot fit everything into one slide, please split it up into 2 slides. But maybe you can even have the USP to show why your product is different from another product in maybe a different slide itself. Just make sure that when you're introducing the solution, try to give aspects to why it solves your problem, why someone should care about it, and why this is the best solution in the market. Maybe you could split that up into 2 slides. I'm going to leave that discretion up to you because you'd obviously know what works better for your presentation. Okay, I think we can go to the next. Okay, so here is a quick example to what your first solution slide can look like. Until now, what have we done? We've spoken about what the problem is. Now we're going to be talking about the solution. The solution over here is their product name. Over here, they've written the product name as Office Flex. Okay, and they've given a very short introduction to what Office Flex is. And the second paragraph is, how does Office Flex work? Very simple, very concise. I read the first paragraph, I know what Office Flex is. Second paragraph is, okay, great, I know how Office Flex works. Very clear. Next, it talks about, remember when I spoke about the USP, why is this product desirable? All of those are the 3 factors that you've seen below that. Tim's productivity improves. Tim employer provides him with monthly Office Flex credits. He has a second working place near his kid's school. So all of these further show why this product is desirable. So what have we seen until now? It just gives you a quick solution to the problem that you're looking at. Okay, I assume that this is pretty clear. So can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, now that we've given a very quick solution to what your problem itself is, let's go a little bit more deeper into finding out and elaborating the solution a little bit more to make a reader completely understand what is the solution that you've provided and how it's going to be helping them in the long run. Okay, so now let's get into this over here and try to think about how we can highlight our products' features in a better way. Highlight how our products' functions work in a better way. Okay, so in this slide, you can talk about a little bit more detail about how does this product work. Okay, what makes this product unique? What makes this product different from the other players in the market out there? For example, I can elaborate this a little bit better. Can you go to the previous slide, please? Okay, now let's look at the first paragraph. Using a patent pending algorithm, OfficeFlex finds the perfect co-working solution for Tim based on his preferred working style, location, amenities, and budget. So now, with this being said, we just know that OfficeFlex is a solution that works on a patent pending algorithm. So in your next slide, you could, without giving too much information, because this is a patent pending algorithm, and I'm sure all of your solutions also, you're not supposed to give off all of the information at the same time, but try to get a little bit more into detail to talk about how the algorithm works, to talk a little bit more about what are the data points this person is what Office Flex is using. Why is Office Flex algorithm better than, let's say, CoWorks or any other type of co-working solution provided over there? Is it because they use an AI algorithm that's better for you to understand your personal preferences that just make it that much more desirable as opposed to like a co-works, which is just there? So highlighting what these unique factors are will make it that much more interesting for a user to furthermore understand why your solution actually works and how it works. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So now over here, let's probably take back the same solution that we spoke about. Remember, I was talking about cloth pads, reusable cloth pads. Supposing if this is one of your solutions, in this slide, the previous slide, you've just given a solution to the problem. It talks about quickly. This was your problem, hence solution. Okay, people are bought, people are convinced, the problem is there, your solution solves the problem. Now we're going to get into further explaining what your solution itself is. Here in this slide, you can probably get a lot more into understanding and talking about how this product itself works. So in this slide, maybe you could talk about the manufacturing processes that you've taken into place. Why is your manufacturing process better than the other processes that are there in the market? You can talk about what are the logistical challenges that you're facing. How have you overcome all of these logistical challenges? And why does it make it that much more effective to work for you and have your solution be the top solution? Why should your reusable cloth pads be better than the other ones that you see in the market? And not only the one in your industry, in the other industry as well. So this slide is usually supposed to be there to completely highlight the features and the functions. Almost think of this slide as sort of like a deep dive format where you're getting into the nitty-gritties and explaining exactly how this solution is working. Okay. What you think you could do to make it easier is think about this slide as a way that's really explaining how you're working. Okay. So it's just best on how you're going to tell this as a story. Okay. A pitch deck is completely like how you're telling a story. Okay, in this slide, you can use anything that best explains what your product is. In my case, I think I probably write better. So I'd probably write a paragraph. I'll write it as a story by saying, this is how it starts. This is what happens next. This is what happens next. And I'll go on like that. But if you feel like if you're having a product and you think what will explain a product better is pictures, you could even use screenshots, or you could use graphics, or you can even show a video that further completely explains how your product works in its entirety. Okay, now that we're done with further explaining the functions and how your product itself works, I haven't included the next slide because I didn't know whether that is the type of pitch text that you're working for. But ideally, in the next slide, what I would include is I would include a market study or something called a landscape study. Now, what is this? A landscape study is something that covers and shows what the landscape of the market looks like. Here is where you get into the numbers of your product. Here, you can include your revenue model, if at all you have a revenue model for your product. What does a revenue model look like? What does it mean when you are producing your product? How much are you going to sell it for? What are your costs going to look like? All of that can be one aspect of, I mean, before we're talking about a market analysis, I'm sorry, my mistake, you could include this aspect to talk about your revenue stream and what your financial health of your business is going to look like. Ideally, if this is a for profit venture, this is also a page that is the most important to an investor, because in the end of the day, the investor wants to know how much money they should put in and how much money can they expect out of your business. So this slide can be a complete slide that talks about how much money your product is making, how much money is going to cost to make your product for one unit and X number of units. You can show at what point will your product will then become profitable, and how much money and how long will an investor have to wait to be able to make the money as a return on investment. So this entirety will be the revenue stream of things that you're talking about. Again, I didn't include it over here because I did not know if the solutions that you are going to be presenting are going to be a for-profit solution or a social enterprise solution, which is why I didn't include it. I'm sorry. If you'd like, I can even create a separate slide and share it, of course, with Rebecca ma'am, and everyone can take it from there. But just wanted to mention this, that is also a very important aspect of your presentation whenever you're going to be pitching to investors. The last one, of course, is a market analysis, which is something that I just spoke about. This market analysis can either come here in the solution side of things, or it can come in the very beginning when you're talking about the problem. Here, it talks about what the addressable market looks like. What is an addressable market? This is the impact slide. You can just ignore this for now. But essentially, when you're talking about the addressable market is, who do you think are people who can potentially come and purchase your product? What do you think your target audience looks like? Showing what the value of your target audience is also something that's equally important to your investor, because they will not only want to know how much money they're going to make, they will obviously want to know how much money is actually out there in the market and how much do people actually purchase this for. So that aspect, in my opinion, I think would also come when you're talking about your problem, or you could also talk about it after you're talking about your revenue slides. All right. Now that we've done with solution, we've spoken about revenue, we've spoken about problem. The last slide, of course, when you're pitching for social enterprise solutions, which I assume is something that we're all here in this conference going to be talking about. The last slide is something that's very important, is to show what your impact is on the addressable market for your product. Okay. Again, I think you would have already touched upon this in your solution. You would have touched upon this talking about what your problem statement is. This is exactly showing the impact if someone were to use your product completely. Okay. Now let's go back to talking about the reusable cloth pads. Okay. This slide will entirely be the impact that is going to come from somebody using a reusable cloth pad. Okay. All the factors will come over here. One, you can talk about it on an individual level. You can talk about it by saying, as an individual, your consumers will feel healthier, have a more sustainable solution, save on X amount of rupees by not purchasing one-time use sanitary napkins every month, so on and so forth. That can be on an individual level. Then you can talk about it on a local level. You can talk about how locally, if these products are made locally, you're improving aspect for small businesses, women to be employed. You can also talk about how this is helping so many more businesses scale. And finally, you can talk about it on a global extent as well, by talking about globally, if people were to move completely from one-time use sanitary napkins to cloth pads, this amount of waste could be stopped from being polluted to the environment, so on and so forth. So in this slide, always ask yourself, what are the immediate effects for an individual? What are the immediate effects for the community? And what are the immediate effects on a global level? I'm sorry, I think I have overshot time, so I'm just going to wrap up very quickly over here and say that this slide is, of course, something that's very important for an investor because they will not only look at the impact that they're going to get, return on investment, they're going to look at it from a money perspective. They're also going to look at the ROI or the impact that they're going to have on the local community or the global community at large. And I think that brings me to the end of my presentation. I think I may have overshot time, but I'm just going to put it out there. If anyone has any questions or anything they'd like for me to answer, please go off mute and I'd be more than happy to answer them. Okay, I think seeing none, no worries. You can always drop me an email. I will give my email ID to Rebecca, ma'am, or some of the coordinators as well. Please feel free to take up my email ID from there if you'd like to drop me an email. If you'd like for me either to share this pitch deck with you or even sorry, not pitch deck, my document with you, or if you'd have any other questions you'd like for me to answer. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable insights, Ms. Sanjana. I'm sure your detailed presentation and thorough explanation cleared any questions the participants had. We hope they're ready to face the championship with a little more confidence and clarity now. Thank you for your insights, ma'am. We now have Amrita, student coordinator of the SMSD Students Hub, to share the updated timeline of the championship with us.
Good morning, everyone. We would like to update you on the revised timeline. The event is designed over the course of 3 months. As you all know, we have already had the grand launch of TN SDG Girls Championship, the SDG introductory webinar in the month of December. We now have 2 orientation sessions to brief students on design thinking and curating presentations today and tomorrow. 3 students, along with 1 faculty advisor, are required to sign up as a team. The last date to register is the 31st of January 2023. Post this, the college level competition should be conducted in the window of February 1st to February 10th. This is followed by the zonal level competition between 11th of February to 20th of February. Intensive orientations will be conducted in the tail end of February till 5th of March for the teams that qualify for the finals. The TN SDG Girls Championships Grand Finale will be held on 7th March 2023 here at Stella Maris College, Chennai. இப்போ இதெல்லாம் தமிழில் சொல்கிறேன். ஸோ வந்து காலேஜ் லெவல் இப்போ ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன்ஸ் இன்னும் ஆனில் தான் இருக்குது. யூ கேன் ரெஜிஸ்டர் யோர் செல்ஃப் ஸ்டில் 31st of March வரைக்கும், 31st of January வரைக்கும் உங்களுக்கு ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணிக்கலாம். February 1st February 10th வரைக்கும் காலேஜ் லெவல் காம்படிஷன்ஸ்லாம் நடக்கப்படும். ஜோனல் லெவல் காம்படிஷன் வந்து 11th February 20th of February வரைக்கும் நடக்கப்படும். And ஃபெப்ரவரி எண்டில் வந்து நம்ம இன்டென்சிவ் ஓரியன்டேஷன்ஸ் வைப்போம் அண்ட் 7th மார்ச்க்கு வந்து கிராண்ட் ஃபினாலே நடக்கும் ஸ்டெல்லா மாரிஸ் கல்லூரி சென்னை.
Thank you, Amrita. Our next guest speaker for today is Mr. Daniel Prabhakaran. Mr. Daniel is an engineer and has worked as an executive in Tamil Nadu Startup and Innovation Institute, Government of Tamil Nadu. Recognized as a mentor of change for Atal Thinker Lab, supported by Niti Aayog, he was instrumental in developing an entrepreneurial ecosystem among engineering deemed universities as well as arts and science colleges through the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Program throughout Tamil Nadu. Mr. Daniel believes that providing support to startups and entrepreneurs will not only encourage them to think innovatively but also propel the economy to greater heights. I request our guest speaker for today, Mr. Daniel, to take the stage. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation and thank you for the opportunity to present about the examples of startups who are working on different technology and showcasing them the product or pitch deck. So thank you. I know your name. So thank you, Stella Maris. So I'll just share a presentation so that. Okay, my screen is visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes, okay, fine. Okay, so, yes, so முன்னாடி பேசினவங்க வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஸோ தே portrayed about the problem statement and solution and unique selling point or innovation and something related to how the pitch deck is created. So I'm going to showcase so what the juries or the panel member expect from a startup or a student who really want to showcase their product or a startup idea. Okay, so I'm going to talk about uh, how a pitch deck should be. And so I'm going to showcase two or three pitch deck, which really talk about the problem statement, solution, unique selling point, or innovation, and how they are going to market, and what is the target, who's the target audience, and what is the ask, and what is the milestone. So
Excuse me, sir. So I'm so
Yes.
sorry for the interruption, but can you please put the presentation on slideshow so the.
okay, fine.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Is it okay right now?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, fine. So, so this startup, so they are like this startup name is Organic Positive. They are working on agriculture food product. So we know organic products, right? So usually we buy from grocery stores. So this startup is working on D2C model where they are commercializing organic food material to the customer. So directly to the customer. So they have developed a product. Okay, I'll show the. So this is the product they have developed. It's basically a granula. So granula means so usually we take a breakfast, right? So in this pack there will be 7 different sachets. Each sachet has protein content of 4 eggs. So usually we take idli or dosa, whatever it may be, but the protein content is less. So what they are doing is increasing the protein content of a daily person by eating a single sachet of packet. So this particular product have different sachets which can be used which can be consumed like logs, or you can eat um, how you like. So you can mix with milk, or you can mix with curd, or you can just eat like that. So this is the product they have developed, and we will see the pitch take one by one. Okay. So the problem statement, they clearly mentioned the problem statement that people suffer from lifestyle disease due to the lack of awareness on healthy eating. So healthy eating is a big problem. So that's what they mentioning, and on the other side, solution. So solution, introducing a ready-to-eat granola from indigenous rice. So indigenous rice and millet is the base product what they are using in the granola, and also they are mixing nuts or seeds and fruits. So dry fruits. So this is the model they are bringing in. So this is the solution actually they're bringing in, and okay, so then the overview of this innovation. So, so what is the innovation they are going to bring to the table? So high protein millet and indigenous based breakfast cereals to increase the accessibility of traditional crop variety in the market. So they are going to bring millet based product and indigenous rice based product to the market, which is rich in protein, fiber, and iron content. And the particular thing is they are not going to add any preservatives or artificial flavors to this particular product. And next, we are going to see about the technology what they're bringing in. So, but basically, this product have don't have any technology like software or IoT or any other particular innovation they're going to bring in. But the thing is, they are going to optimize the process parameter by integrating ERP, that is on enterprises resource planning software, and various IoT enabled technologies as a controller sensor. So they are going to automate the warehouse to implement a faster response from the customer. That is basically a logistic process. So then is the product innovation. So they are going to bring indigenous rice like punga rice or puliyachan rice. So these rice are traditional rice where our forefathers used to uh, used to consume. And millets, they are going to bring in millets which are in low GIS, instant ready to eat breakfast cereals. So basically, this particular sachet have equal to of a protein content of 3 to 4 eggs, which is protein rich and fiber content, fiber content product. Okay, so this is a business model they're going to bring in. That is, they're going to work on D2C model. That is direct to customer. So they're going to avoid the middleman or agent or wholesale agent. So they're going to directly uh, connecting the customers or consumers directly. So they're going to build a mobile app which the customer can order, and this particular startup will directly send the product to the home. So GTM, so go to market strategy. So they're going to they're going to create awareness about the traditional rice or millet, what is available in the market. So since 2023 is millet year, central government is initiating millet year or millet throughout this year. Uh, these type of startups are emerging, and they are focusing on millet-based product or traditional rices to market to to the entire country. Actually, government is taking many initiatives to promote a millet-based product. As you know, we are like a agriculture country, so we are mainly focused on agriculture. So they now government has taken steps to initiate agriculture product. It may be a millet or a traditional rice or value added products from millet or agriculture products. So so they are going to follow the same. So they're going to create awareness and cross selling along with other products. So they have already got some different venture which actually they have around 130 or 140 products uh, marketing their particular mobile app. So they are also going to market to various wellness and healthcare facilitators like doctors, therapists, yoga therapists, gym, nutrition dietitians. So basically, they are going to market in different. They are going to follow different strategy for marketing and market opportunity. So this is the market opportunity what they got. So total addressable market, that is TAM, which is around 30 lakh families in Chennai around. So overall they're going to make around uh, they're going to target around 3 lakhs of working women the age of 25 to 45 in Chennai. So maybe their overall market is around 3 or 4 crores around the year, and impact for farmers. So the agriculture products are what they are going to commercialize is from the farmers. So they have created a model where the farmers will get benefited directly. So they have portrayed the impact on farmers by initiating this type of business and financial roadmap. So they have curated for 4 years. So 2022. So December 22 they are going to start, and 23rd March, that is 2023 March and 2024. So already they are in this stage this year. So this year they are going to make around sales volume of more than 500 percentage. So which is in which they are going to increase about 600 percentage next year, and consecutively to 500 percentage in the next year. So this is a competitive landscape. So this is a competitive analysis uh, comparing their product with other competitors like Kellogg, Soulful, True Element. So this is a particular slide where you can portray how you stand from other competitors. So you need to portray your product so that how you are different or how unique, or what are the advantages, or um, what are the benefits you are more what are the benefits you are providing more than other competitors, and the competitive advantages, basically USP, that is unique selling point. And we need to showcase your team members. So they are rotating the team members. So they have given designation: business business management, operations, technology, and advisors. So while you are developing your pitch deck, so you need to make sure that you are going to portray your team member and your advisors or mentor. And this is a photograph of a particular product. And if you have any videos, you can also portray your video. And this is a poster that I've created. So basically, starting from problem solution, marketing or target audience, then the timeline, then the competitive advantages, then the team, and the photograph of the a particular product. So this is the format jury expect from a startup to present in the paycheck. Okay, so and basically this particular pitch deck is prepared for RKBY, that is Rashtriya Kushal Vikas Yojana, where a startup can get 25 lakhs of grant, and this particular startup have pitched, and they will move on to second round. So I'm going to share another startup pitch deck. Yes. So this particular startup, D-Robot Technology Private Limited, have raised 2 lakhs fund through Innovation Voucher Program, where the Innovation Voucher Program is a flagship program of Tamil Nadu government, where startup can raise 2 lakhs fund through A voucher, and in B voucher you can raise around 5 lakhs. So A voucher is for research and B voucher is for product commercialization. So this D-Robot Technologies Private Limited, um, okay, have developed the agriculture drone. So basically, you know, right? Agriculture drone means, so they used to spray the pesticide in the farmland. Um, so they have found a different set of problem statement and solution and so on. So we'll see about the pitch deck one by one. So in the first slide, you can see the project title, unmanned aerial vehicle with ultra low volume pesticide sprayer and adjustable frame structure for improved spraying over target. So this should be in your pitch deck. Your project title should be in the first slide itself, and your company name or your partnering, your knowledge partner or any other organization. If you are going to partner, you can mention it. So they mention in the project title, company name, and the knowledge partner. So this is an introduction about the company. So you need to give an introduction about your startup or your company. So they have formulated this, incorporated this company in 2017, and they started R&D on unmanned aerial vehicle in the year of 2020. So this is the introduction slide about D-Robot Technologies. And they mentioned about the problem statement. So the problem statement, what they have found is poor utilization of pesticides, low efficacy of the specific spraying machine, unaffordable cost, time consuming. So different problem statement they have found. And the solution. So they are going to bring ultra low volume spraying technology, which can increase the spraying pattern, or which can increase the killing of pest in the agriculture farmland. And the proposed solution is ultra low volume technology with reduced interference of drone thrust. So basically, the innovation is they're going to bring is one is 45-degree adjustable arm. So that's the first innovation they're going to bring, and second innovation is 20 to 50 micron droplet size vertical sprayer tank for drones. That is, they're going to incorporate ultra low volume technology, which can produce a minimal amount of that is spraying size, that is droplet size. So usually a droplet of spraying pesticide spraying machine has more than 100 micron or more than 150 micron, 100 to 150 micron, where in this particular technology, this ultra low volume technology provides a droplet size of 20 to 50 micron, which is very finer than usual traditional method. So then the research analysis. So you need to portray the research what you done so far, so that the jury will get attracted. So first slide is the title, then the problem statement, then the solution, then your research. So the research slide is very important. Then only the juries will get attracted that you have done some research on the idea what you have created. So you need to show the research work what you've done. So that's might be the fourth slide, and the fifth slide should be like uh, the application or the problem, something related to the problem statement, which enhance the problem statement and the solution. And the technical, this slide shows about the technical details of the drone. So basically, if you are providing any technology, or you are coming up with your some new technology, you need to show the product details or technical details of that particular technology. So this startup have showcased the technical details of drone which going to develop, and research work. So as I said, you need to showcase the research work, and they have developed a 5-liter non-adjustable frame drone. So they are testing in the field, and they are showcasing this. And next slide is revenue model and go-to-market strategy. So revenue model is very important. So you need to fix whether you're going for B2C model or D2C model or B2B model. So you need to fix the revenue model, then you need to showcase it. So how you're going to take your product to the customer, or whether you're going to directly send it to another business, that is business to business model, or B2D model, to direct to customer or direct to business model. So then how you're going to generate revenue, that is direct rental model. This startups showcasing like they're going for B2C model, and rentals, they're going to provide rental service to the customer. And the marketing strategy, direct marketing to consumer by trial spraying in the field. They're going to connect FPOs. FPO is food producing organization, where uh, 10 or 20 farmers get together and form a company. So I think Tamil Nadu alone have more than 1,500 FPOs, where they are providing, they're producing um, foods, that is normal millets or agriculture products. They're producing normal agriculture products. So they also going to showcase in social media and local TV channel about, and they're going to create awareness. So this is a market strategy what they're going to follow. And value for farmers. Since this particular startup is focusing on for agriculture products, so they need to showcase the value for the farmers. So they have showcased. And this particular slide provide the details about the project milestone. So let's say if you're going to start a project in a particular day, and you're going to you need to make a milestone. So accordingly, you need to get the work done. This might be a approximate one or tentative one, but you only really need this particular slide to showcase how you're going to in which date or in which time duration you're going to complete the project or product development, or you can um, you can showcase how you're going to market, or in which duration you're going to develop your product, or in which duration you're going to take the product to the market, or you can also give a timeline about the R&D work or something like that. So this will be your this slide will speaks about your timeline of your project and competitive advantages or competitors. So you need to showcase who are your competitors and the competitive advantages of your particular product. And financial statement, this, if you're going to raise a fund to particular organization, you need to estimate how much you are required to develop a product or commercialize your product. So they actually, as I said, they went for IVP voucher A program. So the voucher program is about 2 lakhs, and they estimated around 2.5 lakh. And this particular startup want to contribute about 50,000. So total valuation is around 2,50,000. So again, that's team competency. Um, so this particular startup showcase the mentors details also. So it will be good if you showcasing your mentor details and your particular experience details also, and the role of knowledge partner. So actually, this particular startup have created around 15 to 16 slides, and they will be provided around 5 to 6 minutes of pitch duration, and you need to complete this 15 slides in 6 minutes or 5 minutes duration. So each competition have some particular duration in which you need to complete your overall presentation, and you need to attract the jury to get into another round of panel, or in some cases you will be directly funded with the presentation what you given. Okay, so is there any questions, or I'll go with another presentation. Hello. So can I go with the other presentation? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So this will be my last example last presentation or example. So this startup is working on intelligent heat bed in 3D printer. So this particular startup is developing a innovative 3D printer, and so they also got innovation voucher program voucher A, and now they are like winners of TANSI 3.0, where they got around 10 lakhs of seed funding for developing a peak material 3D printer. So, so this particular startup name is Gas Technologies Private Limited, and they are working on advanced 3D printer, and this particular technology they have patented actually. So innovative intelligent heat bed for fusion deposit modeling, that is FDM 3D printer. So they have given an introduction about the company and problem statement what they are going to address. So they have addressed a problem statement that the heat bed in the 3D printing takes more time and to heat, and starting and start the printing process late. So usually 3D printer have a heat bed which will get heat within 30 or 40 minutes time of duration. So then only the process will start. Then only the 3D printer nozzle will come into near to the heat bed and prints the material. So this time duration is one of the problem they have identified. And the solution what they given is splitting the single heat pad into 3 different zones and optimizing with the controller. So that is, let's say if they want to print in this particular area, they can switch this particular area and they can print. So this particular area, time required for heat this particular area will be lesser than the previous traditional method. So for a traditional printer, they need to heat the whole area, which is takes around 30 minutes. And let's say if a particular size of product, uh, which is closer to this particular area, will take lesser time. So this is the innovation. This is the solution that they are going to bring in. So they have quoted the value proposition that is faster, stronger, and durable, efficient, and lightweight. So this is the value proposition they are going to bring in, and the price to value ratio they have quoted. So for a generic bed, it will take around 15 minutes. Usually the traditional thing is around 30 to 40 minutes, and they have created a they are optimized in that particular they are optimized the time duration for heating this in this particular machine. So that is around 15 minutes, and Gen 3 bed. So this is the model they have created. Already they created. Then this one brings to 5.2 12 minutes, and the intelligent bed what they are going to bring in is 3.12 minutes. So this is the time duration they are going to cut short. So they have patented this particular technology, and then is technical details. So first is problem statement, solution, then comes the technical details, innovation and technical details. Then the milestone. So in which duration they are going to complete. So the first week they are in the ideation stage, and research and development in the fourth week, and funding and knowledge partner in the 8th week, and final product in the 20th week. So this is the duration they have quoted. In marketing strategy, revenue model, and go-to-market strategy. So this is the marketing strategy they are going to do. So actually they are going to go for B2C, business to consumer model, and the team, and the knowledge partner details. So basically, if you're going to prepare a pitch deck for your particular area, uh, your first slide should speaks about your uh, particular technology or a particular idea. Uh, then your startup name, then the problem statement, then comes the solution, then innovation or USP, then the technical details of your technology or your product, and then competitive advantages, and marketing strategy or market. Uh, then you can also showcase your market market analysis, that is TAM, SAM, or how much market your product have. Then comes your team, and also your the milestone. Yeah, milestone, then the team. So maybe if you're going to come up with the idea, you can choose around 10 slides which speaks about your all these stuff. Okay, I think is there any doubt, or if there any clarification you can ask. So actually I showcased one millet based product pitch deck, one technology based pitch deck, and one agri tech pitch deck. So food tech, agri tech, and technology. So is there any doubts so that I can clarify? I think you are on mute.
So the comments are off right now on YouTube. So if there are any
Oh,
questions, we will let you know, sir.
okay, fine, fine. Thank you for the opportunity. If there are any questions, please do email or WhatsApp me so that I can give clarification. And if there is any guidance your students have, I can give my guidance or mentorship to them. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing examples of the startups to give our participants a clear and understanding on how pitch deck presentations should be presented. I'm sure our participants now have their vision and ideas set in place for the championship. Thank you, Mr. Daniel, for paving the way for our future champions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have now come to the end of this webinar. Hope this session has conveyed all information clearly. If you have any queries, kindly reach us through your zonal coordinators. Firstly, we would like to thank our principal, Dr. Sister Rosie Joseph, and Vice Principal, Sister Regimani Megala, Dr. Shiny John Veraimon, and Dr. Sister Stella Mary for their support and guidance. We would like to thank Ms. Sanjana Vijay and Mr. Daniel for their insightful presentations. We would like to thank SDSN Youth and SDG Students Program for their continued collaboration and Startup Tamil Nadu for partnering with us for the championship. We would like to express our gratitude to our zonal collaborating institutions and the faculty coordinators from Etharaj College for Women, Kumararu Guru College of Liberal Arts and Science, Lady Doak College, Tasim Bibi Abdul Qadir College for Women, Ponsekur College for Women, Bishop Herbert College, Ayanadar Janaki Ammal College, and Auxilium College. A sincere thanks to the TNSDG Goals Championship 2022 team of faculty and students at Stella Maris College, and also to the registered participants and faculty mentors. We wish you all the best for the championship and hope this session contributes to your success in the competition. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the Almighty for ensuring that this event was a success. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you.